You are Sint Maarten.
The URSM, the Unified Resilient Sint Maarten Movement, being a political movement, will be hosting a weekly radio program called You Are Sint Maarten, every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Radio Mix 94.7 FM. I myself, Dr. Messalina, the political leader of URSM, will be hosting this radio program in which current issues, actualities and general topics will be discussed with the people of Sint Maarten. So join us every Wednesday on Radio Mix 94.7 for our radio show You Are Sint Maarten.
You are Sint Maarten. You are Sint Maarten.
A pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Mix 94.7 FM, and we are live on the air with our weekly program, You Are Sint Maarten. I'm here, the temporary host, or should I say, the replacement host, Herbert Martina, candidate number 4, along with two other candidates, Delano Hutchinson, and of course, Brug. We're here in the studios live. We just wanted to say that our leader, Dr. Luc Marcelina, is right now preparing for a hot debate that is going to take place at the Bel Air Community Center. So if you have time, after listening to us, you can go move over to that as well. Or just join them live at the Bel Air Community Center. Nevertheless, we are here with our weekly program, You Are Sint Maarten. And I just introduced these young men. I would like for them to give their introduction themselves. And we will start off with none other than number 7, URSM, Brug.
Hi, good evening, Sint Maarten. Good evening, Sint Maarten. How you doing? This is the first public appearance that I'm having for the year 2024. So I'd like to wish the people of Sint Maarten and all those that are hearing my voice all the best for the 2024. We have survived 2023. What for us, for me, what is important? How good or how the quality of life for us will be in 2024 can and will soon be determined by you on January 11th. So please, I'll take this time once again. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening and giving us the opportunity for us to present our platforms. The fact that you're tuning into URSM, You Are Sint Maarten, means that you're already on the right path of choosing the right political movement in order for us to improve the quality of our country moving forward for 2024. Welcome, good evenings, and stay tuned.
Good evening, Sint Maarten. How you do? This is candidate number 16, Hutchinson Delano. Wishing you all a pleasant and a prosperous 2024. Wishing you much wealth, health, prosperity. Thank you.
All right. So, of course, I had to leave the candidates. The other candidates wish you a happy new year. I also want to join on that bandwagon by saying happy new year to each and every one of you. And above all, I wish you prosperity. I wish you love, kindness. But above all, I wish you health. Without health, you can't enjoy any of those things. So I just wanted to say those who have passed on in 2023 could not have been here to experience the opening of the new year. However, we are in the land of the living, and we should appreciate that, and we should give thanks for seeing another year and looking forward to seeing more. However, in looking forward to see another year, we can only reflect back on what has happened not only last year, but for the past 4 years. And moving forward, we are in a election season, and we're hoping to, gain and garner enough seats to sit into Parliament, and not only that, for us to have the majority to get ministers so that we can work on behalf of the people of St. Maarten. Looking back, Richinel, I just wanted to touch on some different topics. Of course, we're going to go straight into some of your hot button issues. Delano, you have some hot button issues as well that you would like to discuss. However, how do you feel about the Christmas season just ending, and then we're into the New Year's. We're into the New Year, but we have so much posters all over the place. I mean, how do you feel about that? I heard a lot of people are just not feeling it. I mean, Christmas have gone. However, entering to the New Year and having an election, it's like, wow, do we have to? What are your feeling about that?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think, of course, people have to understand how this situation was created. The last time government fell, it fell in the Christmas season, and therefore, based on the law, you have a X amount of time that you have to call an election, and as long as the government doesn't fall prior to the 4 years, you have to maintain that 4 years period. It's mixed feelings. I'll be honest with you. I'm one of those that do believe that Christmas, we should not have politics or election around Christmas time. However, the legislation is something that we would have to work on. And of course, you're going to need 2/3 majority to get it changed so that we can try to see if we can move it away from during the Christmas holidays. But of course, I do understand, because I'm also one of those candidates that have put up posters during this season. It's because, if you do not put up the posters, people are not going to be aware of that you're running. Because despite the fact that I've been on radio, despite the fact that I've been on social media, it wasn't until I put up certain posters that was like, oh, but you're the guy, you're actually running again. Oh, you're this, you're that, So it serves a purpose when it comes for the election aspect of it. So again, I'm not one in favor of it, but because of the politics, because of the election, it does serve a purpose, and I don't see no other way around it unless, I just don't see any other way around it at the moment under the circumstances.
Okay, that's very honest of you and stuff like that. Delano, how do you feel about election, dead Christmas, election season, dead Christmas, and going into the New Year's?
Well, being a first-time runner, I too have mixed feelings on the matter. However, it was surreal in a sense, because instead of seeing a vast amount of decorations to lift people's spirits, you're seeing all kind of billboards again. But again, it's marketing. You have to market yourself. You have to be out there. You have to engage with the people. So it is unfortunate. However, it is what it is. And yeah, the thing most what touched me is that they put so much emphasis on marketing and talking about the sitting government, because a lot of new parties was more, slow pace, trying to get this stuff together, but they were ready. They was out. I seen big billboard instead before Christmas decorations, and we all know that's the responsibility of the government. So, it was a mixed feeling. So, for me, the season came and went, and I barely enjoyed it, to be honest with you, because running, you have to be focused and engagement with the people. You have to remind them. However, you get a mixed feeling from the people as well. They want to listen to you, but they're trying to enjoy their Christmas season. They had a long and rough year. It was tough for everyone. So, yeah.
Talking about long and rough year, I mean, a lot has transpired in 4 years' time. And one of the things we see is, again, we came out of the Hurricane Irma, and then we had COVID. So a lot of things, we see that this government, the government that is sitting right now, they've blamed Hurricane Irma, they've blamed COVID. However, they've boasted some stuff under their belt, saying that they accomplished some stuff, And my question is, okay, what is it? So when it is to your convenient, you can boast things that you've done during this period. However, when it comes to the matters and different projects and different stuff, then you blame it on the COVID situation. Nevertheless, we will move on and we'll talk about hot button issues. Delano, we know that you have some things that you would like to work on, but before we go into that, I saw recently in the news, and I don't claim to be any economist. However, I do boast somewhat common sense, and we're looking at the Caribbean Gilda. It's hot in the news again. after not hearing so much about it. And trust me, the public opinion on this is not very nice. One of the things that they are talking about is the fact that we didn't even have a say in this, and it affects our lives. And next thing they're saying is that, hey, this is just to continue the fact that it's a waste of time, a waste of money, and the studies. Trust me, if the studies were done, I'm sure the studies would indicate that it is a waste of time and a waste of money. I don't know what you think about the whole matter, Rishina.
Yeah. No, look, it's so far gone, and I guess one thing is very important. That's why it's very important for you to know how to choose the correct representation in government, that they can make the correct decisions for you. This situation, this topic that we're talking about is so far gone that really there's nothing else that we can do about it. It is a discussion that we have had among ourselves in as candidates, as a URSM party, where we debated among each other: do we stay Caribbean Guild? Do we go Caribbean Guild? Do we stay what we are now? There was even an idea of using euros. You remember that discussion,
Yeah.
So it is a discussion that it is at this point, it is so far gone. There's nothing we can do about it. So we're going to just have to make sure that we make the best of it. When it comes, we have to make sure that we are able to do certain things economically that it will benefit the country. It will benefit the people of this country. Because if we just introduce the Caribbean Guild and we don't do what has to be done in order for the value to go up, so that the economy of this country can benefit from it, then it makes absolutely no sense. So therefore, at the end of the day, that's why I'm saying again, it is very important for the public of St. Maarten to choose the right leaders moving forward, in order that we can make the best of the situation as is.
Yeah. One of the things I remember, and I'm fortunate to live that long, the introduction of the euro. Okay, I lived in Holland, and I witnessed how they prepared the people. Europe on a whole, how they prepared the people, and up to a certain amount of time, even after the euro was introduced, you still could have changed your guilders, your Nederlandse gulden, and it was 2.2 to the euro. I could never forget that and stuff. Here it is, they're talking about phasing out the guilla in 3 months. All right.
But actually, from my understanding as well, there's going to be a specific amount of period to which you can still change. I think it's the first 10 years. But when you say that as well, it's very important for you to understand. They inform the population, because I was also in Holland at the time. They inform the population of the change and how it's going to be done and whatever the case is. The currency change, the rates change on paper for salaries.
Yes.
But in the grocery stores, if you can remember, it wasn't a matter of them adjusting the prices so that it can be the correct rate. It was a matter of, what was guilders? We just changed the symbol. It's now euros.
Yeah.
And the people just had to swallow it. The people just had to swallow it. And that's one of the things we have to learn from what happened in Holland. We have to make sure that here it doesn't happen. Because we already have a population that there's too many of our people living in poverty. And those type of situations are going to make it worse.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a lot worse.
Yeah. What we've seen here, and again, we're touching on the Caribbean Guild. What we're seeing here is the fact that I believe that an informative campaign, not just, giving a write-up. I think the people should have been informed and should have been involved. There's where, again, we see that the stakeholders were not being informed properly. And next thing, this is to keep on the exchange rates that the banks are making astronomical amount of figures on. Once you have to change money, the exchange rate or the exchange, the percentage will always be in favor of the big banks, big business. So these is things that people are looking and saying, hey, come on, man. I mean, when are we going to get a break? When is the government going to think on us? All right. But that's the thing of it. With the Caribbean Guild. And there's so much more that we can discuss on this. There is even issues saying, hey, instead of a Caribbean guilda, which we're using a currency already, and then you say you mask it on the yet, it's illegal. But we've been using that for how much years now? Okay, since 10. Okay, the Nederlandse Santele guildas. Then there was even look at Statia, Saba. They have dollarized, and we could move into that. The more part of our economy already exists in dollars, and then we say, hey, if we want to partner, seeing that we are part of the kingdom, and right there at the front side, I mean, we're in the perfect location to say, hey, let's go under one currency, which is the euro. Should this be beneficial? So those are the arguments that are there and exist. And I think that before we could have been at this point, we should have been able to at least have an input and have an informed decision, rather than or other than somebody just pushing it down our throats, as it were.
Communication could have been communication when it comes to marketing and communication. Definitely, that could have been improved. You can never give too much information. In that aspect. So therefore, I do agree with you in that sense, that communication, a better communication strategy to reach out to the public, to reach out to everyone, all stakeholders in the community, should have been executed.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the number to call, this is a live show, so the number to call is 543-7961. And we are here. Maybe you want to give an encouragement. Maybe you just want to give a shout out. Maybe you want to just ask a question. We are here. But in the meantime, when you are gathering your questions, we'd like to touch on some hot button issues with these candidates. Delano Hutchinson, I know that you're ready on the campaign trail, and there's certain issues that is dear to your heart. Give us one or two of them so that we can, go into them.
Well, to segue on this currency issue, I have to agree with Mr. Richard Brug. They didn't do their the diligence and research on how it will affect everyone across the board, like island-wide. And I'm talking from a judicial aspect. When it comes to the offenders, it's already hard as is. And I immediately just think on, wow, the crime rate will go skyrocket, because it's hard as it is for them to put the whole country into a situation right now. It's not wise. I think we should more consider, gathering more information, because there has a reason why they say, hey, let's make this vast change in changing the currency island-wide. But why recreate reinvent the wheel? Like you said, our counterpart is already on the euro. To my knowledge, Holland is in Europe. We're under Holland, so why not go that route? However, we're still gathering the facts, and we're going to see how it will benefit the country on a whole. But I immediately thought about the crime rate rising, and we barely have it under control as is. That's a major concern of mine. Without even trying to implement programs or solutions for these guys who committed a crime, done the time. I was speaking to a group to themselves, and they was sharing the grievances, and they was explaining me that a lot of these political parties coming by, swinging by, giving them a little sale or whatever, but never ask them once, how's the situation, how they doing, and I've heard it firsthand. Wasn't pretty, wasn't nice, so that's one of my concerns, Are we gonna keep ignoring these issues that will have a long-term effect, or we're just going to do as if it doesn't exist until something happens, you know? So,
one of the things that I am approaching people, and that's the nature of campaigning. Sometimes you approach people that you don't know, because it's about numbers. You need to get those numbers in order to get into parliament, okay? So I approach people and I ask them if they have their candidate of choice. And when they say no, or they said, well, I'm not voting, I'm hearing that, okay? What I tell them is that, ladies and gentlemen, if you are happy with how things have been going for the last 4 years, if you're satisfied, if you think that you've gained representation, a true representation, if you feel that you matter in this 4-year governing period, then by all means, why don't you reward this government with your vote? However, if you feel that there's a fundamental change that needs to come, if you feel that they've not represented you well, if you feel that you did not matter, if you feel that they have dropped the ball, then you need to give somebody else a chance. Guess why? Because if you don't give that person a chance and you decide not to vote, you are already against the sitting government. So, you being against them does nothing, for the situation. What you have to do is go out and vote them out. You need to punish them for not taking care of the people's business. Okay. Guess why? Because they too have a mass of people who are going to the polls, who are going to be, fanatic with calling on their friends, their families, in order to go and give the sitting government that vote. And when I say the sitting government, a lot of people are just looking at the Jacobs cabinet. Okay? I'm looking at the UPP as well. I'm looking at the United People's Party and the National Alliance. They are the coalition parties, the sitting government. A lot of people just looking and saying, yeah, but, pointing fingers at one party. But I give both the blame. And when people come up to you, Reginald, how can you encourage them to go out and vote?
Okay. I'm glad that you touched on that topic. That's a topic that's actually a debate that I've been having within the community. Look, one of the things that people always say is that all of us are the same. As candidates, all of us are the same. Those that are there, have done nothing, and even those that haven't been given the opportunity yet, they are also punishing us and seeing us as those individuals. And it's a simple thing as Peter paying for Paul. And what I tell these individuals, and in my discussion with them, I tell them, listen, 2 things. 1, at the end of the day, Peter can't pay for Paul. If those individuals are in office and you're not happy with them, then replace them with someone else. We have a right to become candidates. We have a right to become candidates. It's a right for us to put ourselves on a list. And that's why, yes, there are over 100 and something candidates. Yes, there are over 100 and something candidates. But it means that you have over 100 and something opportunities. For choices. Correct. Thank you very much. Choices for you to make the right one. You know the ones that are there that have failed, put them on the back burner. Choose other individuals that haven't been there. We have that right. We're doing our part as candidates. Now, as candidates, we each have different platforms.
Definitely.
As candidates, we have each have different educational background. So from the time I put myself on a list, I have selected a list to join, a movement, and this I honestly believe the URSM is the ultimate list. I have selected the URSM to join, and therefore now it is up to you as the voters, as the population, to now start to screen each and every one of us. Do you know, as URSM, we are the only political party that have submitted police record? We are the only political party that have submitted police record. And I tell them this. I tell them, hey, me as a candidate number 7, I went even the extra mile to submit my tax returns to ensure that even though the tax is an unfavorable system, that I have been compliant with every tax law in Sint Maarten, even though it's unfavorable. So I give this to them. And in addition to that, I tell them as well, I have an educational background. I did international communication management. I did political science. I tell them, in addition to that, besides my educational background, I'm in business. I have my own business. I work in the educational field. So I have a plethora of different experience and backgrounds that you can benefit from. Yeah. I didn't just decide today that I'm just going to be a parliamentarian. I have been preparing myself for the role of a parliamentarian, a minister, for all of my life, because it's something that I have always wanted. Good. And what makes it more What makes me want it even more now is because so much of our people are suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much of our people are suffering. Children are going to school hungry. People are living in poverty. Young people can't get jobs. The young people that are being incarcerated, the rate is high.
Yeah.
The rate is high. So therefore, I am now more determined more than ever. But at the end of the day, it is the voters now that have to come off that mindset of all politicians are the same, because we all are not the same.
Right.
Screen them. Look at their background. Look at their educational background. Look what they have been doing in the community, for example. I always tell people, listen, I don't contribute in the community only around campaign time. I contribute in the community 24/7 as a volunteer law enforcement officer. I go out there and I put my life on the line for complete strangers. For complete strangers. And you will tell me that I just like another politician, that I only campaign around election time? No.
Yeah.
You don't acknowledge, you don't see these things. And there's a lot of other examples of candidates that is on the URSM that are in the exact same situation that we don't see. We don't acknowledge their benefits and their contribution to this country.
Regional, I see that you're very passionate about that topic and stuff. And as you said, those are debates that you've been having in the community. Delano, this is your first time running. And you also have some issues that you wanted to deal with. And why you decided to run is because you have been seeing people coming in and out of the prison system. And not only that, you are heavily involved in rehabilitation, law enforcement. You are a man disciplined. Please give us some of the things that you want to touch on.
Well, to complete what Mr. Brug was saying, I also tell voters, if this government isn't doing it, keep trying. Don't not vote. Don't just say, hey, I ain't voting. Right. Especially saying, all I is saying, I don't get it, forget about it. If that's the case, keep trying, keep voting, and get it right. We're a young country, 13 years old, but it doesn't start now. We got to get it right someday. We have to reshuffle the cards, reshuffle the deck. And you asked me a question, Mr. Martina, about the prison system. Yes, it's a shame to see that we have so much talent on this island, and a group of young men in particular fall into this trap. I call it a trap because I personally feel that this system here, as well as other systems, but Sint Maarten directly, is designed to implement crime. Why I say that, I look at other countries like Switzerland, I believe, the crime rate is extremely low. Like, but how come big country like that compared to us? Because we deal with numbers, and the ratio, we still exceed. And the reason for that is because the people are well educated. The economy is up to par, so there's really no need to commit a crime. Their judicial system works, the economic system works, everybody's well educated, they invest in the people. The crime rate is close to none. There's no need for a huge, a major prison. We have so much inmates right now, we have to send them abroad because we ain't up to par with the justice system, the prisons, our youths on the road with schooling. We don't have a prevention on these guys committing crimes. Yet, we do as if everything is okay. I see it firsthand, I see it. And when we give these guys something to do, this is what hurts. The time they get it done, for example, they have to cut the grass, paint a building, build some cabinets, do whatever, talking about positively now, they do it in a matter of weeks, and they wait on us, okay, what's next? That's when it hurts, because now, like, wow, these guys has this talent, they could be in any company, carpentry, cleaning the roads, consistently, because they have the drive. They're getting paid. They can provide for their family. When they're denied, when they're denied that opportunity, it's a shame, because now they fall into the prison system. But there's where you see the talent, because now they're sober. They're not stressed. Well, they're stressed because they have to deal with the case. However, when you put them to do something for the prison, for themselves, it's
Yeah,
amazing. You know, the
exactly.
talent is great.
Yeah. A lot of things, a lot of things that we're talking about here is because when we delved into finances and the poverty and everything, and that we know based on studies, based on experience, that poverty have somewhat to do with the high rise in crime and stuff. One of the things that one of my platforms is financial independence. A lot of people are talking right now when you say, hey, we need to create jobs. We need to create jobs. Rishinel, you're sitting right there and stuff. I heard people talking about opening hotels, getting other hotels, and all of that is fine. I do believe that we should explore and how do you say, make use of our sun's sand and stuff, right? But one of the biggest ways that we can empower people financially, if we make the climate to invest in ourselves, and we get entrepreneurs, and we invest in our local entrepreneurs, all right, whereas they themselves would create different job position. So business owners, whether it's a bakery, whether it's a juicing factory or whatever, right, they create different jobs so that people would be able to benefit a salary. People would be have a sense of pride, and we would have different stuff being produced right here in St. Maarten. So entrepreneurship, please, ladies and gentlemen, we need a government that makes the climate conducive for entrepreneurship. And I can't stress on that enough. Now, Brug, you're a business owner, and you have made opportunities for people to gain employment. Okay, Delano, you know the fact and how it is to be an employee, but also how to create different things for people to benefit. Those are some things that we should explore and stuff. And next thing we're talking about, a lot of persons are going out there and talking about projects. They forget that there's a parliamentary election, okay, where nothing is wrong with projects. But then I'm asking myself, you're talking about different projects. How are you going to pay for it? How are you planning to pay for it? Okay, let's put it in different perspective. How is the country going to pay for all of these projects? I'm hearing racetrack, drag racing. I'm hearing, all of those things. How are we going to pay for it?
I think it's a valid question, but in saying that as well, I think that's where the population has to come in and ask when they're listening to different candidates. Listen, if this is your proposal, how are you going to pay for it? Because if you're gonna, don't just propose something for proposing something out of the air. And I'll give an example, because I'm one of those individuals that are advocating for alternative energy, going green.
Yeah.
And that's one of the questions. Yeah, but going green is very expensive. Yes, going green is very expensive. But I know of how we can gain the finance for the initially for the project to come off the ground. But at the end of the day, we will be getting rid of this GB situation that we have. So instead of paying 400 guilders for GB, we could be paying maybe 250 guilders. The initial investment is high, but after a while, you will see the benefits. And this is not something that I'm thinking. It's already been proven. Stable, Statia, Curacao, Borneo. These are countries within our kingdom, sisters, brothers within the kingdom that have already gone alternative energy. So yes, it is a valid question. So therefore, now we have to make sure that when people talk about certain projects, what is the benefit? First thing, what is the benefit for the general public? So the majority must benefit from it. And then at the end of the day, how is it going to be financed? And we have to make sure that the finance come in a legal manner, because we have a lot of persons that are doing projects out there. The finance come in an illegal manner. And then at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons why we are known or seen as a corrupt country, as a corrupt government, because certain decisions or finances are coming from questionable individuals.
Wow, 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 wow.
Questionable
Uh,
investors.
one of the things that I'm hearing, and I went and I was campaigning yesterday, and I went in a house of a elderly, and wow, again she was like, Prince, um, the way how these people treat us, the seniors, I don't understand how they can be able to go into some seniors' houses and talk to them, because impossible. We are being treated in a deplorable condition. And I had to tell her one thing. I said, listen, a lot of those who are there right now can do better. Why they choose not to do better, God only knows, and they would have to deal with that and sleep at night. However, I know that once getting elected, the main focus will be on our elderly. Why? They have laid the foundation for us to thrive and for us to be in a position right now. And not only that, we too one day will come of age. I think some of our elected
willing,
officials, right? God willing, some of our elected officials don't think that they're going to get old or become an elderly because the way how they move in. Impossible. So let us set up. If you don't do it for the elderly now, right? At least let us set up so that when we and our generation come of age, we would benefit and have benefits of the system that we have put down and laid down.
I'll say something, right? And maybe it's not the correct thing to say, but to be honest with you, I really don't care at this point in time. I won't say that a lot of them don't think that they're not going to get old, but they make sure that they set up themselves and their family and generations to come to ensure that they don't need to depend on the pension. So that's why they will never know what the average pensioner is going through. Mm-hmm. So they have no, like I said, I don't care who hears it, but that's how it is. Because when you hear about in 4 years, a breakfast program wasn't accomplished, but yet in 4 years, the individual managed to build apartment buildings, or the individual managed to do certain things, to making sure that their family and their cronies are set up, then yes, we're going the wrong direction. Let me add also to what you said. I am 100% in agreement with you when you say that the elderly is going to be one of our main focus. I would use the word one of our main focus. In the beginning of this campaign, I've told the people of Sint Maarten that my focus for me is the people of Sint Maarten. Yeah. Why? Because in the beginning, I've always said, we've been preaching to our young people that tourism is our number one pillar. And I keep saying it in programs after program after program. Tourism is not our number one pillar. Because without the people, at the end of the day, none of the pillars would exist or would be able to operate. So you have to invest in your people. And in saying that as well, it almost slipped my mind as well. Today is I want to take this opportunity. Today was one of the most productive days for me in this campaign. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I'm out there talking to individuals. But today, in the beginning of my campaign, I told everyone that I'm coming with this campaign different. I'm going to be presenting solutions to real problems. Yeah. And today I presented an LBHAM when it comes to the salary adjustment of our teachers. Today I went to the government building, I booked it in a div so that the teachers in this community, in this country, that are underpaid, stressed when it comes to work, that are dealing with our future generation can find themselves in the correct salary scale, because they're being underpaid for years. They have been protesting for years. For the last 4 years, within the last 4 years, they've had, as teachers, had maybe 3-4 protests. And at the end of the day, their demands were never met. So I made sure I organized with my legal team. We made the necessary adjustment based on what their requirements are. Yeah. I've looked at the budget of the last approved budget to see where the changes can come from, where the extra funding can come from, and it exists. It's there. So I made the amendment, I presented it today, and I'm asking the teachers out there, I'm asking parents out there to please give me the opportunity on January the 11th so that I can continue to push this LBHAM forward so that I can make it a reality, that it's not just going to be a legislation that I've handed in. This is my third legislation through this campaign. First was the breakfast program, because I'm bringing it back. Our children are not going to go to school hungry. The second one was the frontline workers. I've told you guys, the people has to be our focus. There are people working in our country that are going above and beyond, and they're not paid right, and at the end of the day we're losing them, and it's hampering the service to the country, to the people of this country. And today I submitted the LBHAM for the correct salaries, for correcting the salary scale of our teachers. Remember, if we don't have teachers, there's no doctors. If we don't have teachers, there's no one to work in the hospitality industry. If we don't have teachers, there's no justice workers. If we don't have teachers, there's no entrepreneurs. Teachers are the foundation for this community, and therefore we have to make the investment in them.
Congratulations, Richard Brug, or should I say to the people of St. Maarten,
Yes.
Congratulations for a great initiative. Delano, I see that you have elderly also as a hot button issue. Do you want to expound on that, or do you want to go to a different topic?
Well, not really. All I have to say with the elderly, it goes across the board for me. I agree with you when you say they paved the way. However, we forgot on the vital formula they used when they was, paving the way for us, and that was unity. I remember stories you've told me, my parents have told me, that a child couldn't go down the road, not say good afternoon, or misbehave in any rude manner, because the neighbor would discipline you, then you would be disciplined again at home.
I'm a victim of that.
You understand? So I think we need to go back to roots and really figure out the problem we have now. And my personal observation is we are too divided. We need to unify, and it starts from home straight to parliament. We are too divided as a people. We're too small of a country, to be divided like this. Foreigners come in, they see a situation, but they understand, hey, we need to stay unified. Nothing against the foreigners, but I admire the way they operate. The Chinese are together, the Indians together, but the Sint Maarten people can't get it together. We have our youths that go school today, misbehaving, and no fault of their own, but an adult would just pass them straight, because you know what, their parents are gonna not argue with the child, they're gonna want to fight with the person trying to resolve the matter. And that's the problem we have here, because the children are seeing it, and how you think they're gonna respond in years to come? So of course they're gonna disrespect the elderly or even us. So we have to start from youths. I believe we have to focus more on the youths and really self-reflect on us, because right now we're the decision makers. We have to look after the elderly and the youths. We're in a very important position today, and I think everything we do today will contribute to our tomorrow.
Well said, Delano. One thing that you mentioned is unity, and being from St. Maarten, I know of the days of when they call it jollification, when the whole neighborhood would come and put their hands together. Some people would cook, next person mixing mortar and stuff, and by the time
houses
you know it, and houses were built. Okay, it is the community, and we spoke about of multiple people disciplining you, and you can't go down, but we were a community.
And respect was all-time high.
Where is the community? All right, we need to engage our communities.
The community is there, Mr. Martina.
We need to engage our
community. We lack
communities.
respect. We lack unity. If we bring that formula back to the community, because the community is there, we lack respect. We don't respect one another. I don't respect Prince. I don't respect Brug. I don't respect the women of this country. The women don't respect the men of the. We lack respect across the board, and that the ministers don't respect Parliament. Nobody. We don't have respect, and it's getting out of hand now. Every week you see a fight in school. They don't care if people passing, teachers passing. They don't care. They will fight because the teachers. We're talking about teachers need to get paid, but we need to start from roots. Everyone needs to get paid, properly, first and foremost. But we need to look at these small matters because they becoming a problem.
And this is why we spoke of community engagement as well, and the responsibility ultimately lies with government, and that's why government needs to have their ducks lined up properly, meaning that they have to have their programs, the governing accord, it needs to match with whatever coalition partner that you have in order for you to carry out a program. Because guess what, just like how the parliamentarians behave, and just like how the minister behave, sometimes rogue, just like that, our children and the society on a whole looks at us or look at them as the example, and we need to start holding our leaders accountable. But I believe that community engagement, the community is there, but the structure of the community needs to be put in place, and the rules and order of the community needs to be adhered to. Because guess what, back then your elders, all right, whether they were short or whatever, it was your elder. Okay, they demanded that respect because they were the eldest. Okay, and not because they were the eldest, and usually they had things of substance. So I want people to understand that we need to go back to the community, and we need to equip the community with getting organized as well. Because if you equip the community, remember, we're in a hurricane belt. When a natural disaster comes, okay, who's the first person of contact in the community councils?
Definitely.
All right, and then those community can tell you, listen, up the road there we have a disabled person, right there. But guess what, as you said, we don't look for our brethren. There's no respect there. So that is where we have to equip our community councils in order for us to have a great functioning community. You wanted to say something, brother?
Yeah, maybe I'll take it a little deeper than that as well, because it's good that we can say to blame the community is responsible. And that's why, for me, again, I go back to, it's very important for you to know who your leaders are.
Mm-hmm.
We move from a situation where we move from a situation where parents used to have the time to raise a child. That was the foundation of a child. That's what you're talking about when you go back in the past. Nowadays, parents are working 2 or 3 jobs in order to make ends meet, or to even make decisions which basic necessity they're gonna pay. As leaders, as future leaders or past leaders, they have neglected to put certain things in place to the safety nets, so that where parents are working, that you can actually have the child instead of at home without guidance or being guided by wrong parties, by wrong individuals. They forgot to put safety nets in place where, while the parents are working 2 or 3 jobs, that child can leave from school goes to do some type of sport. Because for me, judo was my sport.
Mm-hmm.
Judo was a sport that when I finished school, I went and I did judo. I actually represented Sint Maarten in an international level. And I did that sport, and among other sports, until maybe 5, 6 o'clock. And at that time, at least one parent was home.
Mm-hmm.
There, the foundation continues. So therefore, you had the input of teachers, the school that contributed to it. You had the input of the judo school, the sports institution that contributed to it, and then you also had the contribution from the parent. So those 3 pillars now together gave each of us a very, very strong foundation. This no longer exists. Mm-hmm. This no longer exists. And as you are saying, this is one of the things that we want to make sure that we put safety nets in place so that we can get back to creating a better community when it comes to the people of Sint Maarten. And that's why, again, at the end of the day, we have to invest in our people.
Definitely.
We have to invest in our people.
Investing our people is a must. That is definitely so. I wanted to make mention, good evening, gentlemen, a great discussion on solutions. If I may add, we need to structure community councils through law and policy. Very good, Jack. The URSM can start with the current policy under CDFHA. and make a men that will empower and offer 3 pillars in each community center, which you spoke about. For example, an information pillar, activity pillar, and community participation. A great contribution, Jack. I would urge the viewing audience to call. You can call in 543-7961. This is Mix 94.7, and we are live. Delano, we also want to ask you, on different topics and stuff. I mean, tell me, what do you have to contribute? And give us some words. Give the viewing audience or the listening audience.
Well, I do believe in what Mr. Brug said with the diversified pillars in economy. I think we should foster more diversified economy for sure and have different venues on source of income. This would generate more money for the Sint Maarten and the coffers, not just tourism. However, we can have more competitions. Just like with this drag racing thing, it's an investment, yet we'll see the benefits in the long run, I have a plethora of points of championing, but unfortunately we're out of time.
We're running out of time.
Yeah, the hour went fast.
Yeah.
Well, all I will say in closing is I am number 16 on the URSM slate. Please vote for me. Let's not forget the main formula to get anything done is unity. Hence my slogan, I can, you can, we can. Sint Maarten, you have a pleasant evening. See you next time.
Brug.
Yes, okay.
Closing remarks.
Closing remark. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the listeners for tuning in. Thank you very much as well, Prince, for hosting the program. Thank you very much for being a very good co-host as well, Hutchinson. My name is Richard Brug, candidate number 7 on the URSM. I have humbly postulated myself as a candidate number 7 on the URSM. I am asking you on January 11th, I'm begging you actually, on January 11th, to please come out and vote. Please come out and support us. For me, it's 2 steps. 1, choosing the right list, URSM. You can't go wrong with that list. And the second part, it's a little bit selfish, but you can't go wrong with number 7, Richard Brug. You can't go wrong with this. Like I've told the public of Sint Maarten from the very beginning of this campaign, my focus is about the people of Sint Maarten. I am not going to tell you what I'm going to do. I've already done it. From the beginning of this campaign, I've submitted 3 legislations, 3 LBHAMs that benefits the people of Sint Maarten. I've named them out earlier and I'll name them again. The breakfast program, we're bringing back the breakfast program for all our kids. The risk allowance for our frontline workers, we must give them incentive for them to stay so that they can continue to provide the service that this country needs. And the most recent one that I submitted today, when it comes to the regulation of the school teachers' salary scale, is a must.
Great.
Is a must. So I'm not only telling you what I'm going to do. I have already put them in. They're booked. I'm asking you to give me the opportunity for me to continue to work on them to make them a reality, because at the end of the day, if URSM is not in there, the other parties have no responsibility or obligation to carry them out. There is a guarantee that once URSM is there, because I do have the back end of the party, that it will be carried out. And of course, there are many other things that I'm combating, especially when it comes to poverty in this country. GB, they've been there, they don't have a solution. We have a solution. GB, it's the one of the biggest problems we have in this Sint Maarten. We have a solution. I'm asking you on January 11th to come out. I'm asking you on January 11th to come out and to please vote URSM. Identify with my person. Go to my website, www.richnelbrug.com. Look at everything that I've been doing. Look at all my different interviews. And I'm asking you to please identify with me on that day, so that I can bring back integrity, honesty, and competency back to Parliament.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I too would like to say I am your number 4 candidate on the URSM slate, the Unified Resilience Sint Maarten movement, caring for country, community, and people. That's my slogan. I want to invite each and every one of you to our first public meeting. When is that?
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, the Fleming property, the roundabout, going to the front side opposite the gas station, there we will be, and we will be there in full force. So come out and support. Come in your shirt, in your teal shirt, come in your favorite candidate shirt, and if you don't have a shirt, one will be provided for you right there and there. On behalf of Dr. Luke Mercelina and the entire URSM slate, we want to bid you good night and have a great evening, and see you tomorrow when we will be there giving you our best.